Hey everyone. So this morning I did a reading. Actually, right before I did the reading, I woke up and it was like kind of in between awake and asleep. And I was still kind of in dream mode. And I was dreaming that it was 6:51 a.m. And then I was waking up and I was like, I wonder if it's really 6:51 a.m. So I walked out, checked my phone, and it was 6:51 exactly on the dot. And I was like, oh, I should do some readings, I guess, because apparently I was, you know, in the mode. So I ended up actually doing a reading on something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and that is the porn industry. I've always sensed that there's some sort of like dark presence to it behind it all. And so I also did this reading a little bit differently. I was inspired to kind of stop trying to interpret things so much the way that I'm reading it and just kind of say like the symbolism that I'm seeing um, because I see things through symbols. So I thought it would be interesting to just explain kind of more exactly what I'm seeing rather than just saying my interpretation of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and read through what I wrote earlier. I just got out of bed and like well, I was just laying in bed and I got out of bed and I'd write some of it down and I'd lay back down and then go back into it. And so, anyways, this is what I wrote. So, because I was looking at the dark side of the porn industry, what came up for me to read first was porn choking, like you know, like choking someone's throat. And so, um, before I got into that, the first thing that came up was just the general energy of the porn industry was two monkeys, one male, one female. They're fighting in a tree and they fall down, looking opposite directions. The male is looking into a mirror at himself, combing his hair, while the female is looking in a mirror doing her makeup. And I got that it was self-image driven. Um, and then what about playful joking where the woman wants it? I see a rabbit being chased out of its breeding grounds by a hunter with a gun. The rabbit is not particularly scared, but it knows it has to get out of there. It's like the rabbit is okay and not fearful, but is still hiding underground, waiting for the hunter to go away so it is safe again. It can, it can play and roll around underground, but it is very limited in its ability to do so. It can get a thrill from being down there, like some people can love winter time being all cooped up in a building close to those they love. The rabbit plays dead if seen by the hunter. The woman being silenced, or I saw another picture, woman being silenced and not allowed to speak creates an inability for a guard to be put up, which makes the social situation different. Like you can't have your guard up all the time, like letting your guard down, so to speak, and allows a shift to happen, which takes away previous blockages on the social level. And then I asked, is it natural? I see a male riding a unicycle with a tire that is lopsided and makes it go up and down with a female monkey on the side of the unicycle. And the male is annoyed because of the unicycle not being smooth because the tire is all lopsided. It's like constant moving around. Um, so he's annoyed with it because it's not smooth, but he's trying to ignore it, and the female is going along with it because Um, she's in the energy of how a poor income household would have to do what they do with what they have, um, even if it isn't ideal. If it is natural, then it doesn't seem to be ideal, at least. So, is it natural? I guess the conclusion would be if it is natural, then it doesn't seem to be ideal. So, I would say not entirely. Here's a general reading on just the porn industry in general. Rabbit eating carrot happy. Dark looming sky of man and woman. It was like the classic painting with the man reaching his finger out, and then it was like a woman. Um, Classic painting of a woman too, and they're like two paintings that are coming together in the sky that this rabbit was looking up towards. They're crashing into each other and creating explosion with card people. That's like in Alice in Wonderland. There's the cards, and they're like people. The animated movie, at least, and the queen who's like off with their heads, and so there's those card people, and they're like falling out of the sky, and half of them were red, and half of them were black, and they're like these two armies fighting each other, um, which turned into a dance performance that was ecstatic and looked actually very joyful on some level. Actually, it's funny because right now I'm reading something and it's coming to me right now is actually like lion energy, like kind of like a golden lion is just what popped in my head. Um, and then the party ends and everyone is dead after the ecstatic dance party. This rabbit is then sniffing the dead corpses, and all is silent, and jumps back into nature again. So again, these are like symbolic images that I'm seeing. Um, so I'm not interpreting these. So um, I'm just leaving that up for you. What is the energy behind this? I saw woman made of black energy. Next scene, she is behind bars in a jail. She is very angry and upset and vengeful. There are male police officers who she hates and curses their male organs by putting energy into them. The energy is Bugs Bunny, as crazy as that is. That's what I was saying. I was saying like Bugs Bunny going into these men, going into their prostate glands and center of their heads. It is the energy of ungroundedness in the sense like Looney Tunes is like kind of crazy all over the place. Everything's super fast and it's not very grounded. So it is the energy of ungroundedness to take away their grounded male energy. Male energy is very grounded when in its authenticity. This energy disrupts the nervous system, causing ungroundedness and a craziness with a sense of desperation and need to jump to the next thing, kind of like an excessive alcoholic who just feels like they just need to keep drinking and like pushing themselves to drink more even if their stomach's starting to hurt. This makes them out of control of their male energy, and they click more and more on a constant search for the next thing. What is the purpose of this? And when I asked that, what I saw was a cop eating a donut, and I saw energetic beings inside of the donut hole. And these energetic beings are like Bugs Bunny, for example. That was like a energetic being. They can appear in different forms. They can, look different to different people and at different times. But that's what I was talking about, the Bugs Bunny. That was an energetic being. And so what is the purpose of this? The cop eating the donut. In the middle of the donut, there's these energetic beings. He keeps eating it without hesitating, and stuffing it in as if his life depended on it, like it just has to keep eating. This causes violence and corruption on his part, and he beats a woman to the ground. That's the end result of the energy from these energy beings that he is consuming in this picture, which is symbolic. There is this genuine hatred towards men, and she creates an energetic curse. This is this woman who's behind bars. The energetic beings in the donut were the origin of this cycle. So just to be clear about what is the purpose of this, well, it was the energetic beings who are creating this cycle of torment that is then being pushed from person to person. So then I asked, what does the donut represent? I wrote, the need for more outside of yourself. The need for more things outside of yourself. Police officer is comparing himself to others. I wrote, comparing yourself to others, trying to do better, focused on performance of his job. That could be a metaphor for other things. All of these things can be metaphors for other things. These things create an opening in his energy field, his aura, you could say, due to a lack of faith in himself, which allows the energetic beings to overpower his will and dictate him what they want instead of him. The result is him being under hypnosis with spiral eyes, that's how I was seeing it, spiral eyes, while eating more food. And then I saw it as a muffin. This muffin is more about earth energy and more grounded, but still contains energetic beings. This food is surplus food that is used as fuel for the energetic beings operating through him, creating more frenzy in his mind. He becomes baby-like and grabs at whatever he wants without thinking. He reaches for a woman's thighs like a baby would pull someone's hair. It is as if he is not even there, like he is drunk. He has no ambition to do his job, and it is now replaced with fulfilling baby-like immediate satisfactions. So then I asked, okay, so that's the problem with how porn can influence people. So then I asked, what about healthy porn? And what I saw was a rabbit eating celery in nature again. Woman picks up rabbit and starts petting it while pointing to the sky where the sun is about to start shining down, waiting in anticipation for the sun to start shining. It is natural and simplistic. And then I asked, what can people do about this negative infiltration of our sexual desires? That being of these energetic beings. And what I saw was a woman holding a rabbit, arms close in, like kind of like protecting herself, listening to the men around and behind her, dressed in trench coats. A stubborn expression on her face. She is listening intently with a sense of defensiveness to her. She is defensive. She hears their words and understands their arrogance and their sense of humor, and takes note with the plan of walking away as soon as she gets the whole story. And then a bird nest showed up, like how a bird builds a bird's nest with this information in mind. And that's obviously symbolic to answer, what can people do about this negative infiltration of our sexual desires? And then I asked, what about for a male? I see the male being one of the men in trench coats of the previous picture that I was seeing, and the woman's arm is being embraced by him and vice versa. He is in the know of these things, such as the men in the trench coats. He knows what's going on and works with these people Rather than fighting them for their corruption, he simply does his thing, which is to make money at his job regarding world affairs. And that's just how it showed up to me. I don't always try to make sense of these things, and in this particular situation, I'm just telling you exactly what I was seeing. I'm not trying to make sense of it. The other men are sucking the money, which to me, I just kind of sensed that represented life, out of other less fortunate people and getting wrapped up in what looks like demonic energy, which makes them turn red with demonic energy. Um, and then I wrote, nothing wrong with red energy, though, just as a side note. If you see red energy in a meditation or anything like that, it's not demonic. It's just this particular situation. That's what it was portrayed, or that's what the energy vibration was at. It was very demonic. Saw them going out of their way is no more effective than walking the straight line. Or in other words, their corruption is no effective. Their corruption is no more effective than not being corrupt. Which the guy knows and continues to do, and the guy is the person who is the male, who is the example of what a male can do about this situation. The others are easily distracted by what seems like a faster route, which shows up as a woman undressing on a bed, which has a sense that she is used up in some regard and about to turn into spoiled pumpkin pie and has been vomited up. That's what I was saying. They all get a devilish gleam in their eyes from this and see it as a perfect opportunity, while the other guy knows that it is not sustainable. These men share these experiences, but they don't have what this other guy has, which is a car. So in other words, they're like partying and they don't have the like the value, like real value of something. It's like more instantaneous. When they get off work, they pop pills and party, and this is what I was seeing, the energy dynamic. But when this guy gets off work, he drives his car home to people who care for him. These other people are controlled by beings that want to exhaust human emotions for feeding off of. It is like their food and drug. That would be the entities controlling these people. The more overextended and off balance they can make people, the easier they can get the rewards out of people's energy. And then I asked, is porn okay? Or decent, I should say, I guess, in regards to everything that I was already reading. And I got the answer, mostly no, but a little bit yes. 30% yes, 70% no. In other words, most of it is influenced under the energy of these energetic beings that feed off of our emotions. They want us unbalanced, out of control, ungrounded, not present in our bodies, and overreactive. And then what came to me, a glass of water that spills easily. In other words, a solid, grounded glass of water that has a solid foundation, it's not going to spill. But when it's all like, it's crazy and it's, not grounded, it's going to fall. So, in other words, getting that water out, that sustenance, in order for them to extract that, the more ungrounded you are, the easier for these energetic beings. Is there decent porn with this effect? Or without this effect? Is there decent porn that doesn't have this entity control over it? I saw a hot burning sun with a naked woman feeling the heat from it and sweating while eating an apple. The apple exposes some energetic beings in snake form from her mind, and she is actually able to heal from it by breaking the mold. So by breaking the mold, so that's the key there. The sun is a slightly dark gold color. It reminds me of Indian spirituality. Maybe Tantra, something like that. Then I asked, what is the apple she is eating? I see energetic spiders, spider beings, entities in other words, that have been making her cry, falling out of her aura, and her becoming aware of it through her satisfaction from the apple, which is truly satisfying. In other words, the apple is true satisfaction. I see the opposite situation where people are being controlled by these entities instead of releasing them. The opposite being hypnotized and more interested in what will happen next than in the actual satisfaction of being in the moment. Something about watching a movie and how that can lead to this intellectual curiosity and comparison of what you may be missing out on can cause a loss of being present in the moment within one's own body. And then just to sum this all up, I wrote my personal conclusion and interpretation. Fetishes are to be avoided. When simplicity is no longer satisfying on a screen, then resort to imagination rather than thoughts being controlled and put forth down a path of energetic being mind control. In other words, the energetic beings are setting up the porn industry and the way things go and kind of controlling things behind the scenes energetically and carving this path that just makes you a victim to them. The more you go down that path, the easier they have control over you. And just so you know, these energetic beings are, it's not just like the porn industry creates these, drinking alcohol makes it easier for you to be influenced by them. Being in a bad mood, being angry can do it too. Although being angry can be healthy too as well. It's just being off balance, being not feeling like you are in control of your energy, pretty much, to sum it up. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm going to end this reading now. Check out my YouTube channel, all my other videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like this, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. And for now, I will see you next week, probably. Have a good one.